Hi guys, Ben here and welcome to Motivation to Invest. With so many different index funds to choose from, it's hard to know which one is best for you. So in this video I'm going to reveal the one and only super index fund, a well diversified, low cost and passive super index fund which you guys can invest into easily. Let's dive in. Coming in, flex, I just wanna win. Before we get started, go ahead, smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to turn the notification bell on, that way you'll get notified when I release future videos and stock picks. It's good to be first on the scene when an interesting stock is at a great price. So what are Vanguard Life Strategy funds? Vanguard Life Strategy funds are a complete off-the-shelf portfolio. Well diversified, passive and extremely low cost. They contain a super index fund which is a compilation of Vanguard's best performing index funds. From the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, which tracks the 500 largest market cap and best performing companies in the USA, to the FTSE 100 ETF, which tracks the top 100 companies in the UK, and then it also has allocations in the FTSE 250, the 250 smaller companies, emerging markets, and Asia. One way to describe these funds is as if they are just a greatest hits album from a well-known singer. Rather than having to buy each song separately, you can buy the whole album and you have all the greatest hits on there.
It's here. Now that's what I call coronavirus. 2 CDs of today's biggest quarantine hits. From The Police. Britney Spears.
This is what Vanguard has done with its life strategy funds. In addition, it also works out at a much lower cost than investing into each individual fund separately. These life strategy funds are ideal for beginner and very long-term investors. They come in a variety of options depending upon your risk tolerance. From the Vanguard Life Strategy 20% equity fund, which has just 20% of your portfolio in stocks and the rest in safe and reliable bonds. This is the safest option but also offers the least amount of returns. Then of course you have the Vanguard 50% equity fund, which is 50% stocks and 50% bonds. This acts as a ballast for your portfolio, as when the stocks are volatile, the bonds should balance out your portfolio. Then of course you have the Vanguard 100% equity fund, which has 100% of your portfolio in stocks. Now on the Vanguard website, they say this is the most risky but also the most rewarding portfolio that you can invest in. Now personally, I would still say it's not that risky as you're diversified internationally across multiple funds. However, if you're a more risk adverse person, you may choose to go for the 20% stock funds, which will give your portfolio less volatility but also less returns. This could be useful if you are close to retirement and don't wish to see your portfolio accumulate massive losses during crashes, as then you would not have to wait many years for recovery. Right guys, so diving into the 100% equity fund, which is the fund I'm invested into on Vanguard. See, we've got an ongoing charge of just 0.22% for the fund, which is incredibly low. One of the lowest costs for funds you'll actually see. Looking at the past performance, we can see 2016, 2017, the fund gained over 28% in that year. 7% here, 9%. This year to date, it's currently minus 5.4% due to the obviously global crisis and stock market crash that went on, but I'm a firm believer that the market will recover and we will see these sort of returns again in the future. Past performance of a lump sum investment. So if you invest in this fund back in 2015, so £10,000 invested in 2015, then by 2019 you would have nearly £16,000, and then obviously had a dip here, but you've still got greater returns than when you originally invested. So we've got the Vanguard FTSE UK All Share Index, which is a collection of different market cap companies, which gives you a good exposure to different growth ranges. You've got the Vanguard US Equity Index, FTSE Developed World, excluding UK, S&P 500, of course, emerging markets, developed Europe, FTSE 100, Vanguard Japan stock. So we've got 4.5% in the Vanguard Japan, Vanguard Pacific apart from Japan, and the Vanguard FTSE 250. So you've got a nice mix of different index funds diversified internationally. Of course, there's a large weighting in the UK and the US because I'm looking at this from as a UK customer, but I'm sure there are equivalents if you're from different countries. The distributions here, that is the dividend, so 2.35% dividend. And as it is an accumulation fund I'm looking at here, it will automatically reinvest the dividends for me, as I don't need that for income. There's no entry charge, there's no exit charge. It's just a minimum debits if you want a direct debit going into these sort of accounts. So this just shows you a cost comparison to show you how cheap it is. So if you invested £10,000 in an equivalent fund compared to this fund, it costs you an extra £1,614. So they are really great value. These funds seem perfect, low cost, well diversified and passive. But what are the disadvantages? One of the major disadvantages of the Vanguard Life Strategy funds is the lack of flexibility in your fund. So for example, if you wish to have more shares in the US market or more shares in the UK market, you don't have this option to customize the fund. If you're a completely passive investor, this is fine. But if you prefer to be a little bit more active and aware of how you're investing your money, then it may be too rigid for you. The funds also have a large weighting towards large market cap stocks. Now this is fine for stability, but history has shown that mid-cap companies tend to outperform larger companies. As they say, elephants don't gallop. So you could be missing out on higher growth potential. Overall, whichever investing strategy you use depends upon your budget, investing goals, and risk tolerance. However, I do believe that every portfolio can benefit from some investment into index funds. As an example, I'm more of a high growth investor. Thus, I have 50% of my wealth in index funds and 50% in stock. Now, some would say that's a little heavy on the stock. However, it is diversified across over 35 different individual stocks. In the future, I plan to rebalance my portfolio to actually reduce the number of stocks I'm investing in to less than 10. So then I know these companies extremely well, so then I can afford to take more risk on each individual stock. So what are your thoughts on the Vanguard Life Strategy funds and index funds in general? Let me know in the comments below. I also have another video outlining my top 5 index funds which you should definitely invest in. So be sure to check that out on the link below. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead, smash that like button and definitely subscribe. See you next time.
Coming in, flex. I just wanna win.